Positive thinking is the ability to transform your point of view to one that leads to a better view of the current thoughts you're having, the situation, or even your entire world view. It is neither delusional thinking nor is it used to blind yourself from the truth, but rather you look at the truth in a better light. Let's use an example and say that your mother has just passed away. This is something that everyone has to go through and usually isn't easy for anyone, but only because you're thinking about the negatives and looking at it in a negative light. The instant thought you might have is that you will never see her again, that you didn't tell her everything you needed to, and that you will miss her support and love. But at the same time, you can shift your thinking and cry tears of gratitude rather than sadness. You could focus on the way she lived, thanking her still for everything she has done for you, how she turned you into the fantastic human you are today, and how she gave up so much of her own life to see you succeed in yours, and that you would rather celebrate her life as a final thank you than be sad at her passing, because that is not what she would want. In no way is this lying to yourself about the situation. You're simply adopting a more positive outlook on it. But that's an extreme example, and it's definitely not an easy place to reach. The point still stands though. If you shift your thinking, you often see that there are other points of views that you could adopt that are much more positive than the one that you tend to default to. This is what is truly meant by finding the silver lining. Finding and adopting a new point of view is what positive thinking is all about, and that is really all there is to it. You're not supposed to look for nice things that you don't actually believe, nor should you try to close your eyes from the world around you. All you're doing is adapting your beliefs to empower you instead of having them destroy you. Another example is believing that some people are just better than others. Although this might sound like a crazy belief, we all have this belief in some form when we look at our friends, neighbors, or coworkers, seeing that they're somehow maybe better than us. Maybe not in every way, but maybe in some ways. You might look at celebrities and pro athletes thinking they have it all figured out and cannot even look homeless people in the eye because you think they have nothing figured out. Or maybe you feel really bad for them. But what if you started to believe that we are all the same, that we all have something to give, and that every one of us is amazing and priceless in their own right and in their own way? What if you looked at the lives of successful people and found out that they still feel pain, still cry, still have problems, worries, and still want to quit and give up sometimes? And what if you looked at the lives of homeless people and found that they still smile, laugh, have dreams just like you and me, and have more fun at times than either of us? You would look at every successful person, every homeless person, and yourself the exact same way. All you have done is change your belief a bit by checking your point of view and adopting a new one. And remember that positive thinking is only used to change that disempowering negative thinking to empowering beliefs. Beliefs are always at the core of our thoughts, so you have to adapt them little by little to get massive positive thinking. To get these kinds of beliefs, you need more experiences in the positive walks of life. When you see people smiling from all areas of life, having fun no matter where they are, you begin to adopt the belief that happiness may not depend upon the situation. If 95% of the time you encountered a bad driver and it was a woman or a man, you would adopt the stereotype that either gender is a bad driver, simply because your mind is forming a belief based upon reference experiences. Yet you have no idea whether this is really true or not. It's just your personal experience of the things you have seen that leads to you having that belief, for better or worse. Experiences create a belief in ourselves based on countless different scenarios in which we have experienced the same thing. So if this is all true so far, the first thing you have to do is find and get experiences that shape you into a more positive thinking person. And to that, you simply need to take action. Directed action takes you to directed experiences. Let's take the example that you might want to go to Rome. The first thing you would do is search for a flight, then you would purchase a ticket, then you would prepare for the trip, and then go on the plane. All of these 4 actions are directed by the experience that you wish to have. So if you never wanted to go to Rome, then you wouldn't take any of these steps. Meaning that if you want to have more positive thinking, you have to have more positive experiences. For that, it might be a wise idea to see which belief you want to adopt and then search for the corresponding experiences and actions thereof. If you wanted to believe that all rich people are cheap assholes, you could simply go on Google and find as many articles and stories of this as possible to foster that belief and start to really buy into this idea. So if you want to develop a more positive mindset, you need to consume more positive content. Find good stories that uplift you. Really look for something that makes you feel better, that makes you think more positively of other people, of the world, whatever you're trying to be more positive about. Find the people that are affecting the world in a positive way. Look at charities and what they've done for the world, and start to take on as many empowering beliefs as you can. In the end, no one has any idea what the right thing or the wrong thing is, and there are always two sides to every coin, but you have the options of choosing heads or tails right now, of choosing to look at the positive side of things or the negative one. The last part to this is where we come full circle, and that is when you realize that the actions you take are shaped by your point of view and your beliefs, which then end up leading to your experience, which then end up feeding the belief again, and your point of view again, and then making you take a new action, leading to another experience. This cycle shows exactly what is going on inside your head, for both positive and negative thoughts. If you want to adopt a more positive mindset, then you simply need to direct the action to more positive experiences, which lead to a positive belief. This belief then shapes your point of view of the world, and you will automatically go for more positive actions, coming full circle again. You have done all of this in your life already, but most often with negative thoughts and experiences or random thoughts and experiences that just happen to add up. So I know this might be a lot to take in, so let's recap really quickly here. First of all, your experiences shape your beliefs. Having one experience over and over again leads to you to collect more data for a certain belief, making it more likely at which point your mind adopts it. This is how stereotypes are formed and how you began to believe what you believe currently. Most of this started with your upbringing and the experiences you made through your parents, as well as through your own experiences around people at an early age. Know also that some experiences you cannot control, but they should only make up a tiny portion and lead to no significant effect as long as you stay proactive in your approach to positivity instead of actually falling into a victim mentality where you believe everything is happening to you and that you can't control your life. Secondly, your beliefs shape your point of view. Depending on what belief you hold, your point of view will be widely different. If you believe that nothing happens after you die, you will be upset when someone passes, viewing it as a negative event. But if you really believe that that person goes to paradise, then why would you be upset when they pass? All you would do is celebrate their life. Thirdly, your point of view shapes your actions. The certain point of view in which you stand, which you hold, leads to you taking different actions. If you thought death was a horrible event, through the example above, then you would fight it with all you've got versus just accepting it when you believe it to be positive or maybe even seeking it out. And fourthly, your actions shape your experiences. As soon as you take an action, you will get an experience. We always act and always experience something, but directed actions are the cause for directed experiences. If you want to experience Rome, you will buy a ticket there, book a hotel, go on the plane, which you would only do if you wanted that experience. This is the process every positive action tries to lead you towards, but knowing it laid out bare is the best for actually attacking it straight on and knowing what to watch out for. Once you have done this a bit, your entire life will change, because the beliefs you adopt through the experiences will make you change your point of view to more positive actions, and with that, a self-replicating cycle of events that lead you to a more positive type of mindset, and you basically will just be a more positive thinker. Experience more joy in your life, and you will think more positively. And then it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Before you know it, you won't even have to lift a finger to think positively. Now share with us, what positive experience are you going to go out of your way to have? Drop it in the comments below. If this video has helped you and you'd like to take it to the next level, click the video that's popping up on the screen right now for an opportunity to work with me one-on-one. Yes, you can actually have me as your personal coach. Just click that video that's popping up.